Hi, this is Methadoniacs Show 1. I am doing this because years ago I posted a video about my methadone detox and how I was able to get through it in a week with pretty much no issues. But anyway, since I've been on and off methadone now for over 20 years, I've really learned a lot. And I've done a lot of research, a lot of studying. I've been to a lot of schools and classes and things like that. I do think that I'm very well knowledgeable on the subject. And this is basically just to talk to people about it, have crazy stories, give out information that might help. And if you're trying to detox, there is a video from 7 years ago about how I was able to detox pretty simply. What I really wanted to bring up today, because it's always been funny to me that people on methadone seem to believe they should never ever get sick. They're never going to get a cold, they're never going to have a problem. Anytime they get any ache or pain or feel crappy at the end of work, oh, it's because my methadone wore off. Oh, it's sweated out of my system. Or I need to go up on my dose. Like literally, when I detoxed, I was on 4 milligrams a day and it was holding me for 24 hours. Now, granted, I did walk down, I didn't just jump from 150 to 4, but it's not unusual to feel like crap if you've worked all day. It's also not unusual to get the cold or have the flu or feel achy, and that's normal human anatomy. I don't understand why people think that when they get on methadone, they should never feel bad again. And if they do feel bad, it's because of the methadone. It's always the reason. Oh, I got a headache. Oh, my methadone's not working. Oh, I feel chills. It must be my methadone. No, sometimes you're just going to be sick. And that's just the fact of the matter of it. You're not going to be well forever just because you take this medicine, either for pain or for getting off whatever drug of choice you had. You're still going to have issues. So don't think that just because you feel a little bad one day that you got to rush out and hurry up and raise your dose. Wait like 3 days. See how you feel then. I mean, in all actuality, you could take 40 milligrams a day, no matter if you're on 300. You could take 40 milligrams every day and you still wouldn't get sick. You might not feel super great at first, but you wouldn't get sick. And if you do, it's because mind over matter. You're doing it to yourself. And I know because I've done it to myself. I'm not saying I'm innocent of it. I've done it too. There's several times when I was on and off. Over 22 years, you can imagine I've been on it for years, off it for years, on it for years, off it for years. It's something that some of us are going to have to stay on for the rest of our lives. I mean, most people don't. Most people want to just use it temporarily to either get well or to be able to maintain while they're still using, but use it as a way to not be sick. And I'm not going to lie, I've done that before too. And after a while, I just quit messing around with trying to run around and find this and find that. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I have to have something, and then I got to go looking around. It's my whole day is spent looking, scoring, having, once I started like really focusing on things, even though I was still on methadone, I was still trying to work a program in my head because I did want to be clean. I did want to live a sober life. And with that being said, I just quit doing all that other stuff. And I ended up with so much time on my hands that I didn't even know what to do with myself anymore. It was like, wow, I've spent so much time doing this that I didn't even realize how much time I was like wasting. And then once I started wanting to get clean, what do you do with all that time? You're sitting there, you're on methadone, you can't do your drug of choice, which if you're on methadone would be an opiate, I would assume. But you're there with all this time, and what do you do with it? You know, like they say, idle hands are the devil's playground. You know, what are you going to switch from one to another? How many people on methadone do you know that started taking methadone, but so now they do coke or meth or Adderall, or whatever the case would be? They're just trying to stay well from the opiates, but they don't really have any plan to stay clean. So they're just switching to different drugs, which I am not judging anybody because I have done literally probably everything there is to do, um, except for now that I'm a lot older, some of the newer like designer kind of drugs I never was into, like the bath salts and spice stuff like that. You know, but by the time I had actually got out of prison 12 years ago, and when I first got out, everybody was smoking spice. It was legal at the time. And I just couldn't imagine. Like, I was like a pothead my whole life. There was no way I was gonna, like, smoke this oregano shit. Like, I didn't know what the hell it even was. When I walked out of the store, some guy offered me a hit, and I was like, is this weed? And he's like, no, it's spice. And I was like, what's spice? I had no clue. I'd been locked up for 4 years. Um, but anyway, that was one of the times I had to detox, was when I was arrested and did go to prison, and had to kick cold turkey. I think I was at like either 160 or 140, somewhere around there. My memory is kind of bad because I did have a cardiac arrest. Actually, they tell you can't die from a withdrawal, but I actually did. I did not have my methadone for 2 days because I had the flu and I was throwing up and I could not hold my medicine down. And I went to the hospital because I still couldn't stop throwing up. And as soon as I got to the hospital, I dropped dead. They had to use the defibrillator paddles to bring me back. Um, I was on life support because I couldn't breathe on my own. I had a 6% chance of survival with minimal brain damage, or a 4% of a chance of being a complete vegetable. But apparently, I was able to breathe on my own, and I finally came out of it. And it was pretty scary, but they immediately started me back on my methadone once I could take by mouth again. So while I was on life support, they had me, I guess, on a morphine drip or something. But anyway, it truly was because I have a pre-existing heart issue that I did not know about. So that does, people will say that's what really did it. It's not the detox. But if you have certain conditions, a detox can kill you. I'm living freaking proof that I was clinically dead. Dead. I hadn't had oxygen to my brain for over 3 minutes. So that's why sometimes I forget what I'm saying, or I might lose my train of thought. And so probably my next show, what I call show, I mean, I'm like, they're episodes, I really don't know, they're not a series, I don't really call them, but anyway, my next Methadoniacs show, I will probably make some notes because there's a lot of things I wanted to say that I really can't think of right now at the moment because of it. But just a thought on that. If you are on methadone, do not expect that you're never gonna feel bad. Just know if you feel bad, try to think of what is causing it besides the methadone, because it's 90% of the time it's not the methadone. Usually you just have a cold or the flu, or you worked too hard. I hear people like in construction or stuff, they'll say they sweat it out all day. So they come home and they feel like crap. Well, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people in construction that don't take medicine and they still come home and feel like crap. They've been working all day long, manual labor out in Florida heat in the sun. So why would you think you would go home and feel great? I, uh, I just I don't get it. But anyway, I wish everybody well, and I hope that you all find whatever you're looking for. And I just wish you a blessed day. Bye bye.